hate, hate, hate. That's all you ever see on the internet these days. You know, it's a damn shame. You know, people hate everything. People hate me. People hate you. You know, but you know who doesn't? God. That's who. Now, before you click off the video, thinking I'm some kind of crazy religious nut, I'm not. But I do think religion plays a big part in who you become as a person. Um, Me myself here, I'm kind of half and half. I'm half Catholic, half Christian, and I go with my dad to you know Christmas Eve Mass every year. And when I was a kid, at my mom's house, we would wake up and she would bake a cake, and we would sing Happy Birthday to Jesus and blow out the candles before we open our Christmas presents. Um, Honestly, it was just really to not only to express joy and gratitude, but it was also just good learning experience. I remember as a kid, and I think all kids are like this, but I hated church. I didn't like going there at all. However, I did it, and the older I get, the more I like it. And now don't get me wrong, I don't agree with everything in the Bible, obviously. But I do think the stories in the Bible teach important lessons that people need to know and learn when they're young, so that they don't grow up to be, pieces of garbage, right? Because you have so many atheist, agnostic people out there. And I'll admit, when I was a teenager, I went through a little bit of atheist and then agnostic phase, because the Bible said about homosexuals, and me being a gay man, took a bit of offense to it. But I realized, you know, you can belong to a certain faith, but not follow every single word that the scriptures say, right? So, I do have my faith, and I don't really believe in much that's in the Bible, because obviously it was written by mortals. It wasn't written by God Himself, but, and I mean, and also don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm one of those Bible thumping kind of oh, go harass people and try to get them to, be Christian or Catholic or whatever. Everybody has the right to believe in whatever they want, right? But I just think, I know that when I was a atheist or agnostic, it was a very bleak sort of feeling deep down. Just thinking there's nothing else after this, really, But after I rediscovered my faith, I'm a lot more optimistic, And and honestly, it makes dying seem less, like a permanent thing, right? Yeah. I mean, because in religion we're taught, we go to heaven when we die, and we get to see our loved ones that have passed before us, and, just, even old relatives that, we never met in our lifetime, but they've been watching over us from heaven our entire life. So, things like that. And it's very, optimistic. It's very promising. It's very comforting, Because a lot of people, they're just so scared of dying, And when you have religion, it eases that stress a little bit. I'm not saying it totally takes it away, but it does help a lot. And honestly, I think we need more religion. We need those stories to be told to our kids, and really it's on the parents, I mean, you may not, like some of the things that the Catholic Church or the Christian Church, preach or do or say or whatever, think, But I feel like they do have a vital role in making up a person's behavior and their genetic makeup, basically not genetic makeup, but kind of their mental well-being and all that. because religion teaches us to forgive and to be nice to one another, be kind, caring, and give and not receive, and just be very selfless, you know. And the problem today is people are so selfish that they don't even think about other people, and this is it's obviously been a problem for a long time, but I feel like a long time ago people were a lot better with their morals. Like, people had more morals and stuck to them. Whereas nowadays, there's a lot of people that just don't have any morals. Like, you got people, perfectly able-bodied women that decide to go on OnlyFans and do that, kind of whore themselves out, which is, definitely kind of frowned upon in religion. But again, you can do whatever you want. It's a free country, whatever, And I don't know. I just feel like if more people went to church and more people heard some of these tales from the Bible, you don't have to believe in them, but just get the message behind them. It's important life lessons. Like not to steal, to forgive one another, not hold grudges. Not to I don't know, harass people, things of that nature. And my thing about it is, it's important stuff that people should know, but they just don't know. Anyway, that's it.